7:04. I watched the 7:04 p.m. For the Board of Health in the Slade Building. Just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded and will be on public television. And so the first item is simply the review and approval of the previous meeting minutes from March 26th. And then I would like to, after that, we'll change the order of the agenda a little bit so that we can accommodate our TA, Nate.
Appreciate it, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
It's too nice out. All winter I would stay. But
It's okay.
It's too nice out.
that's not on, for anyone wondering. You're not virtual. It's just in the middle of the table.
Maybe we should put it
Its little eyes would be on if it was on. Its whole gimmick is it looks like an owl.
Cute.
Mhm.
All right. Any corrections?
No.
No. I didn't see any either. So I make a motion that we accept the minutes from the March 26th meeting as written. Second?
I'll second.
Liz, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Official copy. I request that we adjust the agenda to review two items with Nate. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So one of the meetings that Lori and I attended the other week was in regards to recycling, regional recycling.
That's the way nicer one. Do the other one first, so that we can end in a good
Okay.
mood.
All right, that's fine.
The other one is way worse.
Okay, so that's the one subject. The other subject has to do with the septic and Board of Health revolving accounts and the issues that we've been having with that. So,
I understand why.
Yeah, get it out of the way, talk about recycling.
sure.
Like,
I think where we're at is, did you have copies of that letter? Nate sent out a letter from, right, this is
I can print it if you guys
April
don't have
3rd.
it.
Did you all see that one that he sent out? I asked you, I think, to forward it to you. We contacted, our town council, Carolyn Murray, and Carolyn stated that the Board of Health fees should be deposited into the Board of Health revolving fund established in Article 6 rather than the general fund. And then, I don't know that there's anything, is there anything else? Revolving fund, spending limits dash septic fund, Board of Health, $20,000. And I don't quite, would you explain exactly what that little line means?
That's what, we're gonna go back to the way it was before you changed it in 2019. So the town meeting sets a limit, and the limit has been $20,000. If you had and needed more, we could have that conversation. I've never done that with anyone, so that would be new. But you would have to provide documentation as to why you would need to spend more than $20,000 of revolving fund monies in any one particular year. I would have to do some research.
So it would be the balance after, in septic, after the sanitarian is paid,
Mhm.
and whatever the balance of the BOH revolving
And whatever comes in, like you could spend up to $20,000.
per calendar year.
Yes, per fiscal year,
Fiscal year.
not per calendar
I'm
year.
sorry, fiscal year, that's what I meant, said the wrong thing.
Is that the same thing as the vaccine account? Was that different?
So,
No, that's different, should be
It's
different
different.
lines.
That's separate.
So
Yeah,
we
there's
are-
different lines.
should reestablish the vaccine account, pull that out, so that it's more clear that we're not exceeding that?
So let's take a step back here. I will do whatever you guys deem appropriate because this was all a giant fumble due to massive turnover. No one was trying to
No, no
foul
one.
anything up
That's
or
correct.
create any sort of issues. I hope now that we have some people in line that will be here for some time. Obviously, we can't hold people here forever, but I'm hoping to get a couple years out of some of the people we have now. And so therefore, I just want to make sure things are fixed. And moving forward, we do not make the same mistake twice. So I am not the town accountant, and the town accountant is hybrid and ill this week, so I may have to bring some of these questions back to her. But I know that the end all be all of that letter basically said from Carolyn Murray, our town council, we're going to fix this moving forward.
Sure.
However that may be, whatever we want to do from a Board of Health standpoint, as long as it's legal, I will do it for you. And make sure that the town accountant and treasurer collector are working with us. We will set precedent and we will act accordingly. But we just have to decide what we're doing and
Get there.
get there. We pretty much have the cluster that we have going on right now for the rest of FY24. Like, we are going to be able to straighten it out to the best of our ability, but it's already Q4
Yes.
of this year.
Right.
So I just wanna make sure that whatever we're doing, we're correcting it for town meeting, and then we can move forward from there.
So, I would like to keep both funds accounts open. I think because not knowing back in 2019 that there would be an issue with that vaccine fund and not losing track of it, but in another year, there's gonna be turnover in our board. We have 3 positions open right now, for the upcoming town election. So I think that I would like to ask, and if you guys agree, then we'll put that forward, is to pull that exact amount without any interest or anything changing the amount of the vaccine fund and put that back into its separate account. So it's not lost and used for the purposes that it was designed for.
Did we,
And that currently is in the BOH revolving account, not the BOH septic revolving account.
and it's been like that for several years now, right? Since 20,
2019, I
2019.
put it up before town vote at the town meeting to move it over to the BOH revolving account. And it was me and the rest of the board at that time. We put it on the warrant and discussed it, and it was voted to let us do that. in town meeting, to move it into the revolving account so it was more accessible because of the original limit of only being able to spend $500 at a shot, without getting the select board approval. And vaccines, if you buy just a few, even back in 2019, you're gonna go over that limit, and if you're trying to set up clinics and bring in nursing staff to do these clinics or whatever we had.
But you don't need the approval to pull from the Board of Health
Revolving.
as a revolving, as long as it's less than $20,000.
Correct.
So what would be the point of that? Like, as a professional municipal administrator, I am not a health professional, so I don't know what kind of vaccines, other than the flu vaccine that we can get anywhere, that you would need to do in an annual setting, other than maybe a COVID or.
COVID's gonna be annual.
Yep, the
And,
number of
pneumonia.
pneumonia,
RSV.
RSV.
I have no problem looking into this, but I think what we're going to be able to do tonight is just all get on the same page. We can look into the creation of any accounts that you would like, but seeing as you closed it out proper,
Right.
you would have to recreate it proper, and the warrant is closed.
Okay. Alright, so
But
that,
if we leave it in the Board of Health
Revolving
revolving,
account.
we still would have access to it.
Oh, yes.
It
Yep.
just isn't
yes,
set aside specifically
And
for
you
that.
can internally call that whatever you want. Like, if in your internal booking, like, I break down my sub-accounts
okay,
further.
okay, good. So we'll do that, we'll keep it the same then.
Like, even if you wanna call it, say,
Okay.
oh, the 5 of it's vaccine, 15 of it is general Board of Health.
Okay. Okay, I'm okay with that.
And I'll work with you, like I've said a couple of times, I'm not the town
I'm
accountant, I
just-
don't
Oh,
play
I
one on
understand
TV.
that. I understand that, so,
I'm learning a lot about municipal accounting while doing this job, but
Oh,
I'm
gosh,
not
yes.
by any means there quite yet.
Do you need a new bottle of Excedrin?
Yeah.
It's almost like each board needs their own accountant, one accountant on the board to
Um,
keep track of it.
Somebody who's good at math.
We're gonna get to a point where it doesn't feel that way, and I promise
Yeah.
that.
No, I
That
think
is
we
something
will.
that
I
I
think
can
it-
commit to, like,
and that's our goal. That's
And-
all our goal.
and
It's
as
not
annoying as it
go
is to
forward
catch
with
these
that.
types of issues and have to go through it, it's better to catch it now, or you end up kind of like we were with the other situation where, oh, yeah, we realized that this was an issue, but I can't go back in time to 2017 and go get that money.
No,
Like,
alright, so we will maintain our current, Board of Health funds, all of them.
following the recommendation of legal counsel.
Right, and, to correct the fees collected in the, this current fiscal year, I have a copy, not the originals, a copy of all the turnovers, because, for example, the agreement with the select board is that, the Board of Health maintains 75% of, say, example, a residential kitchen fee minus the inspection fee. Now, right now, I'm on the board, I'm doing the inspections, so this year, it would be if someone paid, say, $100. That's not exactly what it really is, but just for the purposes of discussion. Say the fee was $100 for residential, including the inspection fee. 75% or $75 of that would stay in the Board of Health revolving. $25 would go to the town's general fund. And in septic, where we do pay our sanitarian to do all his things, out of which he's very reasonable in charging. His fees are very, very fair. if you are collecting for a septic permit and say it's, $300, I don't have the chart in front of me, but just for grins, say it's 300, his fee is 200, then 200 goes to the sanitarian, leaving $100, of which $75 stays with the Board of Health in the septic revolving fund, and $25 goes to the general fund to supply and help out, which was agreed about on,
Eons ago.
yeah, a long time ago.
And we will move forward doing that properly, beginning, I believe Kelly said, when did I write that? I think it was this month, I think it was April
It's
first.
April 1st.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was the day, so March is staying however it was placed in, and then beginning April 1st, we're moving forward. That's what I had talked to her about thus far.
But we're still in the same fiscal year, can we not correct it?
That's
Right
not
now?
what that letter states.
So what you're saying is not easily.
We're moving forward, we're gonna do it right.
Okay, alright, the only item left then is, there was a deficit in the septic, and would you just let us know again, one more time, how that's being handled?
What we did a couple months back,
Uh-huh, just review with us.
I'd have to go and find all that, I'm
Not
sorry,
the
Madam
amounts,
Chair.
but was that, where's that money to pay that
You
off?
no longer have a deficit.
Okay,
Yeah. Sorry, I do so many things right now,
okay.
Let me see if I can get Kelly on
No, that's okay, I thought we,
the line. She gets to be in Florida, I'll call her.
She gets to beat the beach.
It's probably hot there.
Yeah, I think it's 80 something down there now. But they're getting rain this one.
It's gonna rain here too.
That's the rain coming.
Hey Kelly, Nate, how are you? Good, did I catch you at a bad time? Is there any way you could, do you remember all the stuff with the Board of Health? Can Kathy ask you a question? We're at a Board of Health meeting, I'm sorry to bother you after work.
There it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Madam Chair. Kelly, the accountant, she is however ill, so I hope that she doesn't have to talk too much.
So the deficit in the septic account, was, to be resolved, and the amount was, $11,122. And I guess that's been paid for through free cash, is that correct?
Yeah, that will have to be voted at town meeting to take care of that, or we will have to add that to the recap to raise it.
Okay, thank you.
And that's when, giving that money back to you, that's when I asked that you please consider paying your own, what do you call it, testing fees for
Right, for
the,
this spring,
Yep.
testing. Okay, thanks, I don't wanna keep you, that's all I have.
Okay,
That's
and
it.
then Kelly, so what we decided on the other thing with the moving the revolving funds forward is that April 1st, we're just moving forward, we're not fixing
Okay.
any of that,
okay.
is that what you're on board with? That's what we're doing?
Yeah,
That was the previous
that's what
decision?
you had said, so
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Okay, all right,
Alrighty,
thank you very much, I
Sorry
hope
for-
you feel better soon.
thank you.
Oh, feel better,
Okay.
Kelly.
Thank you, bye.
Sorry for bothering you.
That's
Okay. So, I think that is where we're at. This septic will be handled through the budget, the general town budget, and then the, accounting, as I have described, will start as of April 1st. Okay. And then that
Way
will,
above my,
Mm.
it's all going just like this.
okay, I'll,
There's too many separate things, like, so the vaccine money was put towards a deficit, but then
No,
it said
no,
they couldn't,
it's
so
not.
now it's back, but it's not really back, it's going into the
No, it's-
Board of Health revolving.
it's there, it's
I
a
think it's separate.
it's a subcategory of our revolving account, is the way he says we should keep track of it.
Okay, but so it is back.
It's
It
never
didn't-
left.
Never left.
It never left the Board of Health revolving account.
Okay, so that was just on paper that it was going towards the deficit stuff.
Originally, whatever was in the revolving originally was going to cover the deficit in the septic, and then we found out
We
from
couldn't
legal
do
counsel that could not be done.
Okay, yeah,
So-
because it's fund accounting and you
Yep.
can't take from one and put it in the
Can't
other.
borrow
Okay, I
from
gotcha,
people.
alright.
So,
But at
yes,
that time, we were told by DOR, the Department of Revenue, that we could.
yeah, so
Okay.
they're the
Alright.
ones that said, and that's why it happened. Otherwise, that whole segment of that would never have occurred.
And because we don't have the backup for the Holden Hill, Holden Hospital fund stuff, that's just going to the fire department
Correct,
now, and no more coming to the Board of Health.
correct.
Okay.
At this time, unless something else
Just
comes
behind
through.
us then.
Still very much willing to have that conversation, just
We
provide
will.
me with a signed document
I'm still
that
waiting
states-
to get one from the state,
I
as you
think you're
know.
gonna have to go down to the courthouse, Lister.
All right.
Alright, and so is that the only, are those the only accounts?
Yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry, I'm
Oh,
just
yes.
like super
Yeah.
confused with all of them.
But
Uh-huh, yes,
What's what, so that's all of it,
right.
okay.
Septic revolving, which has, vaccine funds in the revolving. We have the, septic loan program. And then, of course, it's a,
And then we pay,
BOH
and then,
goes to general fund account.
and then we pay Nancy and for office supplies out of the general operating budget,
Which
which
also is
is
a
under,
good
Comes out of the
reason
fees.
that we should be contributing to the general fund.
which is under
Yeah.
land use, because my predecessor Ryan took
Put it that way.
these several different accounts, cause there were small accounts for Board of Health and small accounts for planning, and we just put them all together as land use. And that's how Nancy's position is funded, the land use clerk is funded, the building commissioner is funded, and that's where we pay for the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission,
And then
supplies.
the
yeah,
test,
supplies,
the testing of the landfill just comes out of Board of Health though.
yes.
For this current spring testing, is what we agreed to do because you're trying to balance, get everything back to normal.
And that's about 10,000 a year.
Half of that, so 5 for the spring testing under this fiscal 2024 budget.
And that comes out of, I'm sorry.
And it comes out of our Board of
It comes
Health
out of the Board of Health
revolving account, because we agreed to do that.
And if that continues, and I'm saying if it does, I'm not saying it will, but if it does, that 10,000 a year would be part of the 20 we're allowed to spend.
I'm hoping that it goes away.
But if it
doesn't-
but if it doesn't,
my understanding, it's a
Yes,
ceiling.
if it doesn't, you're correct.
It's a ceiling, you can have $20,000 in that account, but you can't go over 20,000. So if you spend 10,000 on the testing thing, we can still add money back to it, you just can't go over 20,000.
I thought it was you could
add money back to it from where?
We were, whatever
Revenue.
fees.
The spending limit is 20,000,
Yeah,
is what
that's
the
what I'm under.
spending limit is 20,000.
My understanding is
No,
that's the
it's not.
ceiling,
No.
that's what you could have in that account, is
No,
20,000.
that's
They're
not
letting
it.
us spend
I'll get you
20,000.
guys that
spending.
answer and we'll respond via email. Please don't respond back, because that would be breaking the open meeting law. But I'll get you,
Well, send it to Nancy and
Yeah.
she'll forward it to us, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm sorry, I
It's,
just, my
the,
head is over.
Yeah,
right.
the
You're
letters,
correct.
the
I believe
you.
letter,
You're
yeah, but the letter says,
I don't think we ever got that email.
oh, you
Liz
didn't
and I-
get it?
Liz and I
Yeah,
have
because
not
I thought
seen
you were
that.
talking about one from several weeks
No,
ago.
Liz and I did not get that email,
Okay,
so I don't know. Judy, did you
Okay.
get it?
Nope.
No,
ah, okay,
so maybe it
That's
just
why
went
But
to
I'm
you.
fine.
confusion.
alright.
I get it.
Okay.
Well, I'll open the town meeting warrant, cause that will explain it right there.
So which one?
Not
Standard.
Fees
exceeding.
collected year to date in FY 2024 remain in general fund not exceeding 20,000. So that would be the same. Yeah, some clarity on that would be fabulous.
Accounting and clarity from my head don't go together.
Well, just because you're just a nurse.
I need it like really dumbed down, like, you know, accounting for dummies, I need it to be real, just simple, basic, this is it, and,
We
yeah.
used to joke about nurses going out to dinner and going out to breakfast or something like that together and trying to figure out who owed what. Would take us longer than having had the breakfast.
Yeah, I believe it.
The article states, it's not the article, I lied to you.
Did you guys get, did that get mailed out, the warrants?
No, it's
To-
not,
to the
not done.
public yet?
It's not done yet, it's online in draft form.
Oh, okay.
Article 6 of every year states, to see if the town will vote to fix the maximum amount that may be spent during fiscal year 2025 or any fiscal year, beginning on July 1st, 2024, for the revolving funds established pursuant to Chapter 4, Section 6 of the Hubbardston General Bylaws for certain departments, boards, committees, agencies, or officers as followed, in accordance with the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 35E and a half, or take any other action relative thereto.
So it's the spending limit is 20,000, okay.
And half
So
of
it
that
doesn't
could be
sound like
going
it's
paying
just the
for-
Board of Health,
For the
it's
No,
other,
It's
And half of that could be the
Concom,
test.
driveway, grave,
Exactly,
Hubbardston
so that
special
leaves us
events,
10,000
late
vaccine,
fees,
whatever.
it's everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's the
So
spending
we probably
limit.
need to go back and look at it again later on.
What, getting someone else to pay for the testing,
No,
like the state?
dividing it out.
The state needs to pay for that testing, as far as I'm concerned, it's their land.
That reminds me,
Oh,
I
paying
need
for
to,
different
I need
accounts,
to-
is that what you're saying?
it's
Yeah.
time to, in that testing
Separate
letter
line
that I did,
items.
Mhm.
that we did send out, it's
So we'll
time
have to
to
come back
And
and
then
talk
you-
about it.
send them
You
a
guys have-
reminder
you'll have
that,
three
a
accounts.
reminder that we're still looking for an answer.
$5,000, septic,
if the state will
20,
take it over.
Board of Health, 20.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did mail that,
I
so
mean,
it's,
after all
it's ti-
these years,
it's
the
time
state
to-
needs to,
That's right.
well,
Right,
we're
sep-
looking
yeah.
for grants, yeah. Thank you
Se-
for
septic
clarifying
is-
that it's the expenses,
septic is
so you, nothing
revolving
else
though,
needs to
right?
be, that's great.
And you'll have 3 accounts, recycling, 5, septic, 20, Board of Health, 20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, yeah, we're good. Are you okay with all of that? I'm
I
good
am.
with that.
I am.
I'm good with it, I understand, so
Good, I'm glad
we
you do.
can, I can explain more of it again at another time if you like.
And I still
No,
can send
I just-
some writing over.
Okay.
I just need bottom line, like, if, you know, if we keep paying for the land testing, then we have 10,000 a year to spend,
Right.
But
every fiscal year.
we have 3 accounts, so we could pay from 3 separate accounts.
And we could also,
But
if
I
you
bet you
could
couldn't pay
prove
for-
that revenues were high enough, we could also bump that if the voters at town meeting saw fit. We would have to do some calculations there, like if you thought that paying for the testing in any particular fiscal year was going to burden the other accounts, we could look into lifting it to maybe 25. But we would have to then provide documentation and backup to prove that, since it is a revolving fund, that the money was going to revolve in from the other way to adequately cover that, so.
Mhm.
I mean, I think the discussion should be had that, you know, public health should be what we are spending our money on.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I mean, in my head, you never know when an emergency's gonna come up and what it's gonna be, like COVID, right? And that there should be monies in there
And that's what
that we
that,
can use, and that's what the vaccine account was.
right, and that's why we moved it, because there was a limit on what we could spend without going to the select board for every, and that's why it got changed. That's how I saw that it, and the other board members at that year, that it should be changed. And that was in discussion, and that's what the town voted to do. And so it was done for the 20,
There are also emergency measures that allow additional spending in the event of an emergency.
so, the only other thing about the landfill testing was prior to, the last 2 years, that was a separate line item in the general fund of the town to pay for, and not part of the Board of Health's expenses.
Who negotiated that? I understand Ryan on behalf of.
No, it was there for a very long time. It was there when I came
No,
on.
I know, but who negotiated it coming out and becoming your responsibility? I'm playing
I-
devil's advocate here for
I
you guys.
don't know,
like-
'cause I don't know that it,
Which, what are you talking about?
The
I got
land-
lost.
The
the
testing.
landfill
That
testing
got, that way
fees
back at the beginning,
were,
when the landfill was covered with the paper, that, right from the get-go, it was the Board of Health.
supervised the fees, but the town, since I've been on the board, has always had a line in the general, in the annual meeting of, and vote that the fees were gonna be paid from the general funds and not the Board of Health. They were a line item for a long time, and the last couple of years, it disappeared. And we always review it because that comes under our umbrella of responsibilities.
Yeah.
But to be able to fund it, we do not collect any kind of monies to pay $10,000 a year out of our budgets. We don't raise money. We don't collect.
Who literally
At the
pays the
beginning,
bill?
At the
Who
beginning,
pays
we did, and
We
we
do.
had, we had,
Mary, the treasurer
No.
collector, pays the bill.
Yes.
so we.
So doesn't she determine where the money's coming from when she goes to pay the bill, like which
No.
account
No,
she's?
she's not, it's not
No.
her job.
Not at all. Like, that comes from prior decisions, and so technically, per our process, you guys would decide, we're paying it from X, and then Nancy would fill out a sheet and fill it all out, saying, pay to whomever,
On the
here's a bunch of
specific warrant.
numbers, on a specific warrant. But what happened here is, for 2.5 decades, this always past landfill testing was being paid for by the general operating budget. Well,
Yes,
let's-
thank you,
for-
that's the
for-
word I wanted to
For
use.
clean numbers, let's just say that it always has, but I don't know if maybe in 1997 it was different.
It
But
was
let-
different because we had a discussion about the fact that we had X amount of money to pay for these, and there wasn't a whole big pile, it wasn't very much, so it was quickly spent because we were doing 4 tests a year. So, and I think that's when it moved over into the general.
Alright. And then at some point
In the last-
between 2018 and 2023, it moved back onto the responsibility of the Board of Health. I have not done enough research into this topic
Me neither.
to tell you
So again,
exactly
wouldn't that have to
why.
be voted on to move, to
Yes,
change that?
yes, but it's tricky because most people, I can't say most, but a good amount of people aren't paying attention to every line item. And if in a single year, say it was COVID and everything was crazy and the Board of Health just wasn't not paying attention but didn't catch it, and then it moved around, things can happen.
And that's what happened. We weren't paying attention to,
I'll have to look back, cause I'm
They're not
sure.
operating.
Somebody would have had to have done that, right? I mean, instead of, it wasn't same old, somebody made a change.
It is not going to surprise me if I can find a email somewhere, and I'm going to look for it between your former chair and my predecessor. That would not shock me. Like,
Saying, hey, we're giving this
saying-
back to you.
Yeah, saying, hey, this is what we're going to do and why. And I'm going to research that.
And then
get-
it would have
get-
had to have been voted on and approved by the town.
Yep.
And just no one told us.
Well, we can't say that no one told anybody, we're just unaware because of turnover on boards and, yeah.
And you don't know exactly what happened, so.
I'm gonna be
you
really
can't really-
bummed when I can't blame turnover anymore.
Yeah.
Alright,
I think in some respect that will always be a little.
Clear as mud.
Yeah.
I will do some digging in the mud and see what I can find on that. But I'm fairly certain that that's what happened. There was a discussion between the former town administrator and the former Board of Health chair, and this was decided for X reason, and we're gonna figure out what that reason was.
this is,
Cause that would be a great help to not have to pay that.
I
Yeah,
feel
well, that's
ya.
what I'm saying, they took away the Holden Hospital funds and then added more bills to us, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got hit twice, so they're giving us less and taking more. And maybe that's where
I
the
feel
deficit
ya.
comes from, right?
or it could.
That's a combination of a lot
I
of
feel ya.
different things, so.
Half of my job is just dealing with the fact that we are getting hit from any and all directions at
That's
all
correct.
times.
Yes.
Like, so, you were at the meeting with the school,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, and I hear the state is running a huge deficit too, so like, they're not gonna be giving us anything.
Right. Okay,
I will report back.
thank you,
Okay.
appreciate that.
And I will ensure that correspondence sent at least from me is sent to Nancy, to you all. That, my letter, I believe I did send it to Kathy, only Kathy, but
Okay.
you guys will just need to set up a process where anything that comes from a town official or a
Oh, we did
employee
have
of the
that.
town gets blasted right out to all of you.
Yeah,
Usually.
yeah, so, yeah, everything needs to go to Nancy, cause then she can forward it to all of us. Yep. Okay,
I can as well, but I just sometimes forget.
I didn't catch it,
Yeah.
that it just came to me. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay,
No forgiving.
Thank you.
definitely.
Alright, then on to the recycling. Last Thursday, there was a presentation, and Lori and I attended, as well as Nathan, in regards to,
We don't wish to interrupt, but we may have a little bit of drumming going on.
Oh.
Yes,
Okay.
we have a new drummer boy and he wants to show us his chops. So,
All
we do
right.
not wish to interrupt.
Thanks for letting us know.
okay,
Hmm.
and,
Wait, is it militia practice over there
Yeah.
tonight?
Looks like, yeah.
so at the recycling, presentation was made to where, it's, kinda sitting on our shoulders as a town?
Do you mind if I give
Go
a
ahead,
minor
please.
presentation
Please do
on the
that.
presentation? Alright.
Thank you.
So for the last several months, I have been working with Irene Congdon, I don't know, she's very nice. And she works for Mass Recycles, or that's what we're gonna call it, or Mass Waste. It's a nonprofit that works through the Massachusetts, the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission to aid our region in recycling and waste endeavors. Backing up a little further, when I was in Princeton as the town clerk and working with the town administrator's office, we put out an RFP, a request for proposal, to all of the various trash haulers. We got no interest, except for Waste Management submitted literally their flyer and said, hey, we will let you buy from us. So there was that. Then Sherry Patch, the town administrator in Princeton, received a grant to work with Irene, and Irene reached out to myself here in Hubbardston and Austin Suganowitz who is the town administrator in Rutland, at first to see if we would be interested in exploring the feasibility of a regional recycling center. After we talked about that, it got a little convoluted and we decided to do a survey. While we were talking about that and getting the survey ready, the idea popped up to issue another RFP, request for proposal, to the trash haulers, but to lump us all together, to be a much more appealing
Purchaser.
proposition.
Yeah.
Like, so by lumping Hubbardston, Princeton, and Rutland all together, it's much more homes than any of the third alone, and maybe there would be a hauler interested in receiving that grouping, so they would lower their deals, to lower their costs. This would end up being a opt-out situation if we did do it, and it would only be done if it was in the best interest of the residents. It would not be taxpayer funded. It would be another kind of municipal side project. The question right now, more or less, is, are we as a community interested in exploring this further? Just drumming. Like, interested in exploring this further, noting that we can jump back and hop out at any time. The state recycling and waste people are already hesitant to work with Hubbardston because in 2007, they did something like this and it got all the way to the finish line where the Board of Health and Select Board in Hubbardston backed out of the situation. So, and what we're looking to, what I'm asking right now of the Board of Health and Select Board, is to allow my office to continue working with these people to put out that RFP and essentially and potentially apply for a grant to allow us to continue working on this endeavor, to come back eventually with more updates on what we could do. Right now, all we're saying, if with a vote to continue down this path, is if it was affordable and right for us, we would consider it. So the recording of the presentation can be sent out to everybody. I believe it even may have already been. If it had not been, I can send that out tomorrow. Irene sent it over last week. But I think
Is it on the town website?
Yes,
Okay.
but that's pretty much it.
And the grant is 4,000, right?
It's a very small grant, yeah.
Yeah, for
Working with Irene,
for working
essentially.
for Irene to cover that, to explore it further. The survey results, as you heard, is that even if we, for the 43%, was that right? Of,
You know what I can do? Let's bring it
just
up.
real quick,
No, I
okay. Most residents, the largest percentage wanted curbside pickup versus,
A drop off at a
versus
recycle center.
taking it somewheres, trash and recycling, versus, a bag system, was that the largest percentage in that pie chart that was presented was for Hubbardston was for curbside pickup. However, whatever
Yes,
system we
I
have.
don't see the advantage to the haulers in this. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's not, if we're not giving them an exclusive, saying only Harvey can pick up in Hubbardston, Princeton and Rutland, they have no incentive
It would
to lower their
be-
prices for a section of the town, they already have a huge section of the town.
You'd have to opt out, and that's the thing, and people are bad at opting out of things. So I think that's really where it would go, and who knows, they could not put in.
So you could opt out and then have waste management come in and pick up your trash instead of, these are just, hypotheticals, I'm not saying we're giving anything to Harvey. That's just okay, so I got you, so Harvey has a little bit of incentive.
Somewhat, one hauler might have an incentive. It could be any of them,
Yeah, exactly, but
but
it was
it would
just an
have to be an
example.
agreement between the three towns and whichever hauler would be,
And they would pick up
hopefully in-
everybody's trash for
right,
a lower
and
fee
recycling,
unless you opted out.
correct.
And then there would still be other approved haulers in town.
If
That you
they
could
came
use.
for permits to haul.
The way I would see it is, instead of exclusivity, said hauler that presented their RFP and received the approval of the three towns would be the preferred hauler. So if they were to call town hall,
We
oh,
would
who's
say.
our hauler? Our preferred hauler is X.
So and so.
And that preferred hauler would have more customers, so the rates for the other haulers would eventually go up, and more people would have the preferred hauler.
Yeah, well, Waste again, just an example, if Harvey is the preferred and Waste Management is coming, they're gonna stop coming to Hubbardston if they only have 4 houses to pick up.
Yes.
And
So they're
then
gonna
per-
stop being an approved hauler in our town.
And then preferred hauler would pick up more houses and potentially
Exactly.
lower their price even further.
Yeah, but we'd still have to allow other haulers in town if
Yes.
they apply
Yep.
for,
And if at any point preferred hauler was not giving us a preferred price, we could reissue
back
the
to the
RFP and find a second preferred hauler. And at that point, hauler B may be more inclined to put in an offer because they were pushed out of 3 towns by hauler A, who then raised their price. But that's really down the road,
Right.
if ever at all.
At this point, with a grant to move forward won't hurt us and might help everyone in the town. So I lean towards continuing the activities that Irene and the 3 town administrators are working on.
Alright, everybody, here is I'm gonna give an expedited presentation. Here is an expedited presentation of the trash and recycling options presented by Irene last week, 2 weeks ago. I'm pretty much just reading. Overview, trash issues, survey results, options, RFP, DEP grants, mass waste ban bylaw. Everybody can take a moment to read that. This is talking about how last year, the year before, you started not being able to put
All these other items.
all these different items within your trash.
people still do. And they still pick it up.
Those yellow boxes have become disgusting though. The donation boxes that, I literally got a letter from Waste Management in Gardner telling me to not put cloth and that kind of stuff in trash, instead to bring it to the donation.
So you have old holy socks and things, you're supposed to put them in those closed
Yeah,
donation boxes?
and Planet Aid has additional federal funds to deal with that.
There should be
There,
some,
there are
there should be some way
there
to
are
separate it then,
boxes,
you
there
know?
are boxes out there that will recycle cloth and all that. There's one at the senior center in Gardner. Cause the thrift store I work at, we take stuff that we can't sell and we put it, and again, the senior center benefits because they get 7 cents a pound. And the cloth gets recycled. But they're few
Feel
and
bad
far
for
between.
people who have to go
They
through
tried
that
to do
stuff.
it here, but
No,
we were
give me a
already-
roll. You're not supposed to throw away old underwear? You're supposed to give it to somebody? That's kinda gross, it's I'm sorry, there's certain things
No,
that,
no.
like.
But that's what people do, we don't accept that, but we just toss it in to be recycled, because of course it immediately goes in a vat to be washed, where the fiber's broken down and all that stuff, but.
At least looking at the positive, that's probably not the grossest thing that goes in there.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, so here's the next one for the current costs.
residents pay $500 to $700 a year for curbside collections. There are more than 5,700 households
In the 3 towns.
between the 3 towns. Collectively, they pay over $3.4 million in solid waste collection. If we did go for an RFP, this would be one of the main points, like, hey, this is a multi-million-dollar venture.
They said how much resident pays for pickup? 500,
Between
700 a
500
year?
to 700.
That's a
Yeah.
lot of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you
And
pay.
mine's higher than that.
That's what almost everyone at the table said too.
It's higher
Yeah.
than that,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's, so this type of thing is going to be offset by the people that do it incredibly green and bring their own trash and do X, Y, and Z to lower their footprint and cost. But then the other side's going to be people who throw everything away and have to pay a ton. So here they're talking about Earth Day. We are working with the owners and managers of Wachusett Earth Day, which is a recycling center, to see if they would be willing to open a satellite Earth Day in Rutland, and in which Hubbardston would be invited into, which would be helpful.
That would be helpful, yes.
Yeah, a lot of people don't wanna cart their own stuff.
A lot of people don't, but to contrast that statement, when we restarted metal recycling last fall, people were waiting
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
line by up to 12 vehicles to do that. So I think there's more possibility for more percentages of the town wanting to do the right thing. Just have to make it convenient.
There's a metal
Make it a
recycling
special
going on
day.
April 20th, I just saw it on the sign.
Yeah, the
Didn't see-
Boy Scouts.
It's for
the
Boy
Boy
Scouts,
Yep.
right,
Okay.
and that's fine. I think, that there's plenty of stuff that needs to be recycled, so if we have, through the Board of Health, as we have had in the past, metal recycling twice a year, I think that's still valuable to have, to hold it, just the same.
That's how many people took the survey. Number of trash bags put out each week.
Now, when you say trash bags, you're saying like trash, garbage?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I put out one.
As you'll see soon, the recycling options and the pay-as-you-throw options got a unfavorable result.
Yeah.
But the waste options and having a preferred or exclusive hauler received positive
Right, that's
feedback across the board.
happening.
How full is your recycling bin?
Overflowing.
46% of people went full.
Yeah, mine's overflow.
Yeah. More recycling space.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Haulers used in this survey, E.L. Harvey was the almost half of all 3 towns.
Is that other portion, was that Republic? Do we know?
It could be,
Could be anybody else that was a small percentage.
Okay.
I've also noticed there's been a bunch of, I'm gonna call them John Doe trash guys lately, reaching out with their truck and saying, I've been seeing quite a bit of that on all the Facebook groups and
Don't they have to be permitted to pick up trash?
Yeah.
but the
usually they're the ones that pick up the big stuff that,
Like a couch or
yeah,
that kind of stuff.
that's the kind of companies that are doing that. Cause I used to hire a guy once a year, come in and take all the big stuff on. It's $100 to haul it.
Likely to use a curbside program.
36.
36% were very likely, like almost
Yeah.
lion's share were either somewhat likely or very likely. Even more because that 8% is sign me up. So likely to use pay-as-you-throw bags for a town contracted curb program was a big no. Likely to participate in drop-off pay-as-you-throw program, also no. Options: town contract, residents pay a flat rate; town contract, flat rate with pay-as-you-throw bag program; seek location for a transfer station; and stay with private subscriptions. So that boils it down real good right there. Curbside, we would need to do a request for proposal for town-wide curbside program, no tax money used. The users pay a flat fee to cover collection, disposal, and admin costs. We would need a intermunicipal agreement with the 3 communities to move forward with that after the RFP. One community would take the lead in the billing. At this point, when we were discussing it, it seemed like that would be Rutland because they have the most staff power. All 3 towns use Vadar, the municipal accounting software, so it would be not simple, but easier than it would be if we all had different accounting softwares to work together, and this would be a voluntary program. The SMRP grant, the Sustainable Materials Recycling Grant Program, they are one-time grants and they offer a variety of opportunities, as you can see right there.
And those numbers, the 15, 10, 30, that's per household per year.
Yes, ma'am. You are the Board of Health, you understand that recycling saves and does good things. Why consider a change?
It will save wear and tear on our streets because instead of having 3, 4, or whatever number of trash haulers coming through town, you have 1.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's a different company driving the trash truck down on our
So
street.
it
I'm
would
like,
save-
Jody Lane is bad enough,
That would help our streets budget a lot.
And that's Irene's contact. I will send you all this.
Because there's no commitment and it's still exploratory to see if it's a possibility, I still think that to apply for the $4,000 RFP grant to go forward to the next stage is still a valid thing to do.
Yeah.
So that's my motion, that we do the next stage without getting to the final, oh yeah, we've got an agreement and all this other stuff, and then say no. But we can go to the next stage under this and apply for an RFP $4,000 grant.
In full transparency, I think Hubbardston could go 3 more stages and still be able to back out clean. This is likely to take some time and some configuration, and we will be returning for more votes of approval in the future. Like, all I'm seeking today is to be able to, if the other communities wanted to and the select board is interested as well, move forward and do the RFP just to kind of stick our toe in the water and see what's out there for interest. Because if it comes back and no one is interested, then we didn't waste anything, but we also aren't moving forward, clearly.
So I think it's worthwhile to go for this grant and continue exploring this, direction, because the recycling and the trash, and all the banned items that can't go into trash anymore, that's important for all of us as citizens in Hubbardston to take care of. So, I make a motion that we, confirm to go forward with the next RFP $4,000 grant. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And one abstain.
Right.
3 in favor and 1 abstaining vote.
Is it possible that, you know, a company like Harvey, people that have had them for a long time, say are paying $53 a week, I'm just coming up with numbers. And when the town comes up with this contract thing, it might be $63 a week. Well, those people are gonna get actually harmed by that. But some people right now are paying $83 a week because Harvey has different fees for everybody. It's not like a consistent fee across town, right? So some people will get a better deal, but others will get a worse deal. Possible?
Those people would opt out. Like you would
But
get.
would Harvey then say, well, you know, we're doing the rest of the town, every other house was 63, you have to come up or forget it?
No, it's voluntary.
You as the, if I was that house owner that paid less
Yep.
for some reason, and that final thing 2 years from now said it would go up $10 a quarter, or 20,
Because
whatever.
there would be a massive educational rollout where we would be running around and mailing stuff, and it would be on Facebook and coming out from the website like, oh,
Yeah. But if it was me and I didn't wanna pay that extra money, I could say, I'm opting out, I will go find my own trash hauler. That's
And
what he
you-
means
and
by
you-
opting out.
and you-
But then
No,
they're,
no,
but
I
then
know
they're
it, but I'm
gonna
saying
lose.
the other haulers are gonna be a lot more expensive.
Right, so
And
they're still
Harvey's
gonna
gonna up
lose.
theirs, so
Correct.
you still have lost, you know what I'm saying? You have to
Correct.
pay more
There
now
could
Oh,
than you were
you're
paying.
saying
You know what I'm saying?
if
So-
you happen to already be working with the preferred hauler,
Yes, and then they say,
I-
okay, fine, but all these people we had in town paying this lower rate because we've had them for 10 years.
at this point, that's putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
For sure,
Mhm.
but I understand
It could happen.
completely that could. I would hope that whomever the preferred hauler would be would look at their lower clients and figure something out for them.
They could still
Cause you
do
don't
that.
get low without either being a long-standing client or having some sort of special deal. Like,
Just, I don't know. It's
You're playing.
just a thought.
Yeah,
it's not a bad thought. I think it's a good thought, but it's definitely a bit early to be thinking about that. There's a chance that we never get there. There's a good chance that we never get there.
because the numbers still might not be high enough for the 3 towns. 3 towns may not agree to go to the next 2 or 3 steps required.
They could all just send us their flyer. Like their
We're already picking
regular.
up on your town, what do you want from me?
But I do see how this could be valuable for maybe a growing trash hauler or somebody looking to regionalize in this area to swipe up a whole bunch of clients that would likely be long-standing. Because there would be nothing stopping, say, Casella, a company that doesn't really do business in Hubbardston, from applying for that. They would have to fill out the paperwork to become a recognized trash hauler, but there's nothing stopping them from doing that. So, or even someone else. That's what the RFP is. We're looking for, we're basically saying, hey, tell us what your best price would be for X contract. And there would be no harm, no foul at this point.
And does the town have to vote to do this, or no, it's just something?
It'd be you guys in the select board.
Okay.
It could be sought that it gets brought to a vote. I would hope that we wouldn't make it that convoluted, but It's very, very similar to the municipal aggregation thing I'm doing with the lights, with the electricity. So, and that will roll out before anything like this rolls out.
Okay, anything else?
Uh,
I think did we forget something?
I did have something else and now I don't remember. I don't know.
Okay.
You're giving us all a raise.
Well,
A percentage, I'm sure.
100 times 0 is still 0.
Yes, exactly.
So, yes, thank you.
There was one more thing. Did you talk with them about the school?
Yes,
Yeah?
putting stuff in the dumpster and.
No, we're not doing that.
Oh, no, that hasn't come up yet, because we did these other things.
Oh. Do we need to move something else up?
Nope, I haven't heard anything about that since that day.
Since the day we did
Yeah,
the tour?
since the day we did the tour.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that the,
All that they
The
told
bill-
us was that they didn't need your dumpster.
Yes, correct.
That was it. That's the only update we got.
actually, the facilities manager, the fella,
Kevin?
Kevin, thank you. I'm so bad with names. Did send me a couple emails and I sent them back to him responding that we were offering the dumpster, but considering that we could not get a guarantee that the big dumpster that's down at the construction dumpster could be brought up here during the spring break week, which is when they wanna do the whole cleanup. And we couldn't guarantee that they'd have it there for the whole week and move it, that they, as he had suggested, they could have, that he suggested on the visit, when we did the walkthrough, that they have a truck or something that could haul away stuff.
This was pre the email from the superintendent where they said they were, okay, so the superintendent's email was the end game. They
And
don't,
the
they don't
end
need
game.
they don't
No.
need the dumpster.
They're gonna bring in some other dumpster, because the one that they have, the dumpster and recycling dumpster that they have is not adequate to put,
What are they taking out of the school?
there's student chairs under there, there's, old,
Oh, is this all
Dusty
the
old-
stuff that's underneath the stage?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
yes, there was a bunch of really old stuff,
yeah,
does not really have value,
1938,
old stuff.
1938.
So they wanted to clean that all out, and then they're going to, put up a moisture barrier and, perhaps, spray paint the block
Hmm.
foundation
Yes.
with a moisture barrier paint. I don't know if they're doing that or not.
They
That
are
was-
not doing that
They're not
because
doing
the
that.
school regional agreement states that anything over $5,000 is the responsibility of the town.
Okay,
And I'm
that's
going
more
to
than
have to apply for grants to get that project fixed. As you can see in the report, the numbers are quite low. You have to be really allergic, affected by the mold to be affected by that number. And there are some people over there, so it's on our to-do list, but we are not at a point where it has to be very, very, very top priority quite
correct,
yet.
because the
I asked
percentages
them-
haven't really changed.
I asked them if they wanted me to scrap the boiler over this and try to reallocate $100,000, and they pretty much said, oh, no. Like, funny. Alright, okay, so we're gonna work with them probably over the next couple years to piece this away and just do projects. I'm hoping that the next round of Green Communities funding can be something to do with this.
Right,
It's been, that storage area under the stage has been that way since the 1980s when they did the renovation. So,
but their first step is they are gonna clean up anything that's in
Yeah.
there that's
Yeah.
not needed,
Yeah, I
other
think-
than some furnace filters and stuff which they need.
They're also kind of
desk and
taking this
chairs that Mike had
opportunity to
sat
clean.
in before they did the renovation, 1938.
And then the last thing I had was we had personnel reviews for the past year, and Nancy did very, very well. She got all top tier scores. I think she's
Of
learning
course.
quite well and growing every day. We talked about goals for the next year and working with you guys and the town staff to move forward on some additional endeavors. So I look forward to working with her, and she's doing a great job. If anyone wants a copy of that, just let me know and I can send it out.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
did have one question, it's, probably I shouldn't, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Whatever happened with the shredding?
Okay. She,
We talked about that and
she's been asking me to not bring it up.
Who? Oh, Kathy?
No, Nancy. Why, you wanna talk about that? I would
No,
love,
I just was wondering where it stood.
I would love to shred it. You guys asked me to not shred it for a year,
Oh, is that where it,
Yeah.
where it landed?
Yeah.
Okay, and what's a year?
last month. Like, I didn't bring it up.
Okay,
Like,
so we're just,
we're gonna
Right.
put it on the back
Right.
burner for right now.
there's a pin in it,
Right.
and we're just kinda hanging.
I don't want there to be a pin in it. If you guys are pro shredding, we can.
I didn't say it was
I'll-
pro
I'll-
shredding, I said where do we stand?
I'll call the truck tomorrow. Like,
Okay, so I
where,
should get my big
where
mouth shut.
we were today is I asked Nancy to keep an eye on how often she's able to get things from Laserfiche versus having to go in the file. Because I think we are transitioning more and more and more to Laserfiche, and there's a Laserfiche policy that states that everything that is created has to also be going into Laserfiche. We're working towards that with the bandwidth that we currently have. It's not something that we can do overnight. So I also kind of am taking a step back on my gung-ho nature with that, because there are
We still have,
bigger fish to fry
Right.
versus the file cabinets in the hallway that are annoying but not really. So we're going to ensure that Laserfiche is what we want it to be before destroying any permanent
Well,
document.
that sounds reasonable, I mean, that
Yeah.
makes sense, and if like no one's gone into those files in a year or whatever, you know, and everyone's using the,
and,
And that's not the case. There has been a number
Yes,
of,
I have had to go in
okay,
to them,
alright.
not often, but I,
Alright.
when I have to, when they're there, and if you didn't
So
have
for
that
the time
option.
being, we just have both systems and
yeah,
it's
for the
fine.
time being, we
I
have
think
both.
a lot of those files were just there because they were just, had to be accessible by residents,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, I haven't even filled out the appropriate paperwork to get permission from the Secretary of State's office. Candace, the former town clerk, never really got to that point where she was comfortable enough in her own role to take that step. And the new town clerk, Melody Green, is starting on April 22nd.
Okay, so more turnover.
No relation. I'm kidding, there is relation.
okay,
It's
thanks.
Joyce's daughter.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least you'll have a backup.
Yeah, perfect. Any questions for me?
No.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Thank you for
Okay.
coming and explaining things succinctly. I'm not so good at that.
Trying. We're trying. Like you said, and feel free to reach out at any time.
I think it wasn't really even all that much drama, just a little bit, just a little bit of drumming.
I'm glad, yeah, there will be more
Now
drama.
watch, it'll
I
start
thought
up.
you said drama, and I was like, yeah, that's why I wanted to do the other thing
No,
first.
no, drumming, drumming.
I thought you said drama too.
Yeah.
Oh, really, I'm sorry, no, drumming.
No drumming, all drama. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye, Nate.
Okay, we have next, COVID-19 flu Maven update. Is, at this point, Judy, have you, as Maven,
I went in over the weekend and there were 6 cases of influenza, but nothing else, nothing traumatic.
okay. All right.
Yeah, the school
luck this
still
weekend.
does.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on Maven right
Strep.
now about tuberculosis. I'm not really sure why they're focusing on.
That's from the national level, because I get those notices from CDC.
I see.
The focus on TB,
Yeah.
is because the number of cases, from
Tuberculosis.
20, tuberculosis from 22 to 23, 23 being their last, ending just the last quarter, in the United States went up, I think it was 8%, which, if I can get the exact number nationwide, it's several thousand, cases. So the numbers have gone up, and right now that's one of the illnesses that has been increasing, that is not considered seasonal anymore, and TB has lots of, there's resistant drugs that don't work on controlling TB and things of that nature, so that is a focus of the CDC right now, and so there's lots of information coming along those lines, and so that's one of the areas of focus right now.
There's still quite a bit of measles going on too, especially in the shelters.
Well,
They said there was.
but it's not the immigrants that are bringing it in. It
The
was at
people
the-
getting measles,
I think it's
it
the
was
way
a
they're
prepared-
living though, when they're living
Yeah,
close quarters.
Yeah, close quarters.
One person gets it,
One
it's
person brings it in.
very communicable.
But when I was at the preparedness summit, they were talking about that, and they were saying that there's a general idea that the immigrants are bringing in because they're unvaccinated, but they can't get into the country they can't be passed on, they can't get, once they come in and they apply for asylum, they can't move on until they're fully vaccinated. So they're right there, health clinics, so they're vaccinated, so.
correct, the CDC
group-
put out that it is not the immigrants
Yeah,
who are spreading measles.
right,
It is unvaccinated American citizens.
Because there really wasn't a
Population.
whole lot of measles around, so they were like, oh, we're just
but
gonna not
it's mostly
vaccinate our kids.
unvaccinated people that, for whatever reason,
Right.
choose not to be vaccinated. But the immigrants, they can't get into the country, they can't put one step forward towards any of their paperwork or anything until they get, that's a law.
Till they're vaccinated, so,
There's
it's not from immigrants.
there's still a ton of strep at the Hubbardson Center
Yes,
School.
yes,
And she keeps asking me, what more can we do, what more can we do? It seems to me she's doing everything she can.
right,
I honestly think that it's a resistant strain and that the doctors, the primary cares that they're seeing, keep giving them amoxicillin. Well, it's resistant. So then the child
They
keeps
need to
getting
go-
it, keeps getting it, keeps getting it. It's never completely being knocked down. They need to do the culture and find out what it's resistant to and put them on the proper antibiotics.
correct.
Do we know if
And
they're
that's not
getting
happening.
all
No.
the
Don't know why.
You're right, I'm
She-
hearing the same story from other sources too.
Yes, yes, so it's just not being treated properly and the same kid has had it 4
3
times in the
times,
last
yeah.
5 months.
Yep.
Cause they're not getting rid of it.
Right,
Do we know
they're
that
not,
they're
it
getting the
tucks up
right-
behind the tonsils and then regenerates itself.
the right education too, like
Yes,
changing their sheets and
Yeah,
new
she just-
toothbrush and
Did
all
you
of
see
that.
the newsletter she
No.
just sent home?
No, from
Okay.
just last week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it has
Okay.
all that information in it,
Okay.
has all that, pillowcases, toothbrushes. She's doing a really good job, she's doing what she can do. The only other thing I said to
hope the
her.
doctors are saying that too, though. You know,
No,
not
no,
that
they're
we can
not.
control them.
No, they're
but-
not, no, they're not, at all.
It's the school nurses, cause Gardner's had a problem with it as well, especially in the younger grades, and they've been going through the same thing.
There's just, like, some students are just carriers and
Yeah,
they just,
mhm.
keep spreading it too is certain groups, it's almost like this regular groups that just keep getting it.
Although, when I was doing pediatrics in the hospital, we had a case where she repeatedly, over and over and over and over again, and then she started having seizures. And it's a funky kind of seizure too. You can talk them right down, you can talk them right down out of it, you know? They start seizing like a grand mal, but you can talk them right down. So, and it's caused by, you know, the strep gets caught up on behind
Yeah.
the tonsils, and so they took her in for a tonsillectomy, and they cleared everything out, and she was fine.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, because I mean, then they're gonna end up with scarlet fever or
Yep.
rheumatic fever.
scarlet fever is not fun. I had scarlet
Yeah.
fever.
Valve replacement, you know, for
Yeah.
valve damage, yeah, it's not funny, they need to
Can
get rid
kill
of the
off
strep.
kidneys as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's important to get them on the right antibiotic. And
Yeah.
also to just double check that you're not looking at something, you know, tucked up behind the tonsil.
Exactly.
But that's really the school's biggest concern right now. She had put the numbers in the newsletter too.
She did.
You know what, I should
It's the
have,
little ones too that are getting it mostly.
what was third grade? Was
Less
the big-
hygiene,
the
right?
jackpot
Like they're probably
grade,
touching
grade
Some of
hard,
it
like
is,
not
yeah,
washing
and some
hands.
of it is that really the whole immune system is not really
Ready.
fully functioning until they're 6 or 7. That's why when
Well,
kids go to
you can check
kindergarten,
into
Well,
that.
you know
they
what, I
have
think
6
it's, I
colds
think
in
there are
1 year.
siblings.
Yeah.
Siblings in both grades and then, yeah. Whatever. Yep.
Yep.
Right,
Fun stuff.
Title V perk reports and perk tests. We have, New Templeton Road, perk test. Does any of this need, so, cause we're already running late. So my question is, does any of this need to be signed off for the people to do the next step? Nancy?
No, those two here have already been done. They were done when they did the Title V.
Okay. I would like to, put off a review of the Title V reports and perk tests to our next meeting. Since there's nothing critical, that needs signing for homeowners to go to the next step for this particular
I
meeting.
wrote it all out already for you, so you didn't have to write that part out. I'll change
Thank
the
you.
date.
So that we can move ahead. We have 2 water tests that came in, sugar high baked goods,
This is just, it's at the end.
and also,
It's
1 Main
this one.
Street.
Is 1 Main Street, is that a home?
That's the, right at the corner. He put in a new well, and he's going
Oh,
to
the
put in a
greenhouse.
septic, yes.
The White House or the Brown House?
The green
Okay.
one.
The green one on the corner.
Okay.
It's a color.
It's a color.
Alright, sugar high baked goods has a good looking report. All the important things, coliform, E. coli, so on and so forth, are all absent. It's just this page of the whole folder, if you wanna do a quick look.
And that, this is the folder, but that's what he just handed that to me. He had it done, I think it was done, yeah.
Should let them know that we reviewed it and that we need these reports in a more timely manner.
Well, that
He's
was
got
the
liquid
owner.
water.
That brought it in.
Well under.
Where is this?
That's sugar.
Oh, yeah, that's the sugar shack.
Okay, here's the other one from 1 Main Street.
I'm never in that area to stop and get anything, so I don't know. Anybody ever had any of their stuff?
No.
The next item, wastewater, there's nothing. Permits, first one is, Lawrence Septic and Sewer.
You want just on that last page?
I think I already signed it.
Yeah. this
You
one's
did.
No,
got the
no,
iron.
did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
There.
okay, good.
We have,
This is typical Hubbardston Water.
Yes.
Installer permit.
High iron manganese.
Lawrence
Iron,
Septic and
manganese.
Sewer installer permit
Iron.
on,
Hard water.
Yeah.
okay. Today's the
Alright.
9th. And signing any of the permits, is an indication that you are approving. Instead of taking a vote. First one is, Lawrence installer's permit.
This is just an updated allergen awareness and serve safe at the end.
Okay.
So did we say no wastewater tests to look at?
Correct. All right.
Was Ron Burton the one that submitted it and they were gonna expire in like a month or
Yes,
something?
I
So
have
we asked
those.
them for new ones,
Yep.
they gave us new ones and that's what that is. Okay.
We got that too for them? Hold on, before I pass anything out, we need this one back.
Iron 10.7. Man.
It's really red water over there. No, that's the water.
Oh.
I'm just staring off into space.
The iron, yeah, it's really high. Kathy, you, looks like you already signed that one.
Next is, we have an update from Ron Burton's campground of, allergen awareness training and serve safe. And they're up to date with their application, I'm not even passing it around. Because it's active.
We already signed it, right?
Yes, the original.
It was
thing.
just so that we had that attached to it, that's all.
Alright, next is,
That is, so, that's the,
okay. Next we have Peaceful Acres Campground, food establishment permit. So they do have a kitchen snack bar when they're open. They typically open Memorial Day weekend.
And they have a pool also,
Yes. And
not like in above ground or what?
it's in a building. It's indoors.
Oh, okay.
And right now, we're looking at their campground food establishment permit to sign off on.
that's the campground with the pool.
And this is the campground with the pool permit coming next. Same place, Peaceful Acres Campground. And so,
How often do they have to do the pool testing? The water?
indoor, weekly.
Weekly,
Yeah.
okay. And same for Ron Burton with an outside pool?
Yeah.
That's weekly also?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's a mobile permit.
And you have, did we get their inspection?
It's, it should be in there. Second one, there's one that's, oh no, it's this one,
So Flat Road is basically dead end, right? And this is all the way at the end?
I believe so.
Okay.
She gonna go camping?
No, not my thing. Go to bed hot, wake up freezing, it's always wet, or, I don't know. Just no.
Bugs.
Yeah, just everything.
I think that's tenting.
I guess,
Right.
but isn't camping this evening instead?
Not if you have like a,
Okay, there it is.
An RV or
an
something.
RV.
Alright.
I guess. Still.
Next, we have Curious Cravings Bakery. which is a registered business in Barry, and they are doing a mobile food permit to participate in the Hubbardston Town Fair.
That's in June.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, they're really right on the ball. I said, they're right on the ball.
So that one wasn't on the list,
Not waiting
right?
till the
No, I
last
had
minute.
to add those in.
Okay.
Cause I can, we also have,
Donut Envy,
Donut Envy,
Envy.
Holden,
And their permits are expiring, I wrote it here. And I did let Katie know today, so she's gonna get in contact with them.
hold on. Wait, I don't sign anything
Well, I
till
wasn't
we-
gonna send it out, I just want,
No, we're holding until we get it.
Okay.
The next is Studio Macarons.
And they have a regular food establishment permit.
Right, they have a food establishment permit in town, which we already, approved.
Right.
And they are participating in the
Correct.
Hubbardston Town Fair and looking for a one-day permit. That one we can sign off on.
This is the one I talked to you about, approved by him back then.
Oh, right.
I did
Again,
send it out.
asking about, paper records and things, this is the next item,
28 George Howard.
28 George Howard Road, is a plan and paper copy of which was not reviewed,
I couldn't find it on it.
reviewed by the Board of Health. And it was approved by the then sanitarian, May 4th of 2022, but never brought to the board for
Did this
signature.
one before?
No, there's still a few
there's
that
still-
we're finding.
Oh, few? Oh, this is another one.
This is another
I
one.
haven't had time to go through the drawer,
There's a
so
few.
just as they come along.
The construction was, signed off on. The septic was approved and built. If you two could share that one, if you'd like to look at one real quick.
So they did a repair and
It was for,
approved.
it was a repair or replacement.
But it just never came through the board.
Correct, I don't see any marks on there that, from the
That's enough space.
Colleen, that was from 22?
Yeah.
Where's George Howard Road?
So this is
Yeah,
a
it's fairly
one-way catcher right
far up.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a big lot, 308 acres.
I didn't even look at it.
It says lot area, 308 acres.
Ooh, whoa.
Right? Is it, was it 300?
Yes, it does.
8 acres.
Mm.
It's supposed to-
308,
Probably supposed to be 3.08.
you think? It says it's 308 acres.
I don't even think George Howard Road has 300 acres.
Just plus or minus.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting silly now.
Cynthia Richards. Isn't that Cross Farm? The house with Cross Farm? Yes, it is. And yes, it is over 300
300 acres.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's correct.
And then it had a house and a barn on the property.
So
I know
it
that
must,
because I'm a farmer.
that land must go into the woods then.
The land is a huge crest of the hill, Cross Farm.
Okay.
Cynthia Richards was the owner of it.
No
property has since sold.
Any
Well, I
more
don't think
to-
there's any worry about,
No.
not having
been
enough
almost 2
space
years.
for, you know, an alternate
So-
system.
Okay, so we have now reviewed it. I'm signing on this one.
We can all sleep a little better tonight, knowing that we've reviewed this.
Well, we're making sure all our ducks are in a row.
Yep.
With all the paperwork. And once that's all accomplished, and then it all gets on, Laserfiche and all, as Nate had said, then we'll worry about not having paper records.
Yeah, I
Past
just
the
hadn't
point.
heard anything and
Correct.
didn't know where it was standing and I'm like,
That's a good
so
point.
what's going on? Sorry, I mean, maybe you guys have conversations with
No,
him
we
and I.
didn't.
No, no.
We had not. We had
Oh,
not
and
had
we
any
weren't
conversation.
Well, I
supposed
mean,
to, I'm
I had
sorry.
a conversation with him today, he was asking me how many times I go in the files, cause he was talking.
Okay.
That, and then that's why I was laughing when you brought it up.
My big mouth, okay. Kathy's supposed to tell me beforehand what I can not supposed to talk about. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm
you
just
can
kidding.
talk
I know.
about
I know,
anything.
I can.
Just realize that whatever you say is being recorded. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Well, I don't know. It was a big deal. But
It's-
apparently it was.
No, not really.
No.
We're all on the same page. Nate,
Yeah.
all of us are on the
Yeah,
same page.
sounds
I
like
think
he's
it's
more than
wonderful.
happy to give it some time, and that's, I think that's really all we wanted was for some
Mhm.
time for it to.
There you go. And we,
Transition out,
we
you
all
know?
have it, and we're all in agreement, all of us.
Okay.
All right,
Good.
next. Any,
Yes.
the
And
Judy
you
that
got all mine.
I made a different book,
What,
so
for
everybody
mine?
has a tab, so Judy's are all in here.
Judy's, NIMS and ICS is
Oh,
in.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so,
And
cause I
then-
had a smaller book.
And all of this is for, FEMA,
Yeah, NIMS and ICS, yeah.
it's all for
So
FEMA.
no one has anything?
I don't have any
No,
ready.
'cause I still haven't done my CEUs.
I have, I'll give you ICS 400. In May, I'm taking that class.
The EDS drill was completed today at noon at the center school. And, with Jamie Terry, and she had some suggestions for a few, draft proposals for, us to look at and perhaps consider in our EDS plan. She will be redrawing the school layout map of how we would run a, distribution of vaccines or any other kind of, event like similar to that at the center school. And, so we'll look at those, I'll have to give those to you so you can scan them and then send them out to all of us to review in the future. And whether we add them to our current EDS or not is up to us. That was her bottom line.
Do you have an extra layout of the school?
Yeah, did she happen to be able to grab one before she left?
No, she wasn't there.
No, I meant Jamie.
No, she did not have, do you,
Yeah, no, Janice
The one
was
thing we would
there.
ask-
She needs an extra, she needs
A
a
blank
copy,
map
a blank
of the
copy of the school plan.
I just would say, try and go into the, town, your
Oh,
computer.
I'll look at my
No,
files and see if I have.
Just
one-
in,
one.
in
I'm trying to
the
think where,
documents
but-
that are on your
The
computer.
school should
Yeah,
have
Just
them.
look for
Yeah, they should.
We just
school
emailed the
plan,
school.
But like I
school
said, Janice
layout
wasn't
plan.
there today. She hasn't
It's a
been there
sheet
the
of
last
paper
two
that
times I've
has
gone in there.
outlined the school and the classrooms, the gym and so on.
Okay, oh,
Been
okay.
there in a while.
So I
See
went
if you
in
could
last
find
week,
one.
she
Okay.
wasn't
Jamie
there, it was the
Terry
same
needs
one.
Okay.
In order
I
to
was there
do
today.
that update for us to then
Because
have.
another planner had come in and then rewritten how the layout was going to be, and I don't know why she did that, but, but we basically told her to
We
bring
went back to our
the
original
original
layout,
one that we had.
so,
Okay,
so she just needs
a clean
a clean one to document,
where everything's gonna be.
correct.
Okay.
I have to go to the Quabbin Regional office in Barry soon. to
Mhm.
fill out some paperwork for them.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna be doing some work
We'll
for them,
check with
but,
Nancy if she finds one in the next few
no, I was
days.
just wondering if I should at the same time try and ask them for a copy of the evacuation plan for Hubbardston Center School
Yes,
on
that
there.
would be helpful, cause it has to, the EMD
Yeah,
plans, there's something called Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan, and that should have a copy of the school plan.
yeah.
Yeah, it,
Last Erin said to me, I asked her if she had the evacuation plan, she said yes, but that it wasn't finalized,
well, that's
so
why
she
she
wouldn't
doesn't
give me a copy.
correct, so we need to wait.
So it's probably still not finalized, is
Whenever
that
it's
what we're thinking?
finalized, then we should,
Then how come they did a drill if it wasn't finalized?
I have no idea.
Why would you be doing a drill that's on an unfinalized?
I can ask. I
ask
can find
again,
it.
Yeah,
ask
ask.
Erin again, yeah.
Yeah, do your thing, Lori, you're good at it.
Poking the bear.
Poking the bear.
Oh, sadly, I don't mean to poke the bear.
Oh,
I
no,
don't wanna
that's-
poke the bear, it's just my head, you know,
sometimes-
just says, wait, what happened to that?
Sometimes it's fun to poke the bear.
I don't think.
Okay, all the new business items
We already.
we handled already.
Yep.
Unexpected subject, what was I going to bring up when I talked to you? I've lost track. Okay, no new complaints? No complaints. Okay, we have turnovers warrants, 15 and 16. 15 is a total of $1,525, 16 is $430.
And that just tells, I just added them up so that we know what went into the
Yep,
revolving the fees account and Phil.
and the fees account is general fund.
Yep.
Thank you.
And
In
this is,
regards
this
to-
is for this one, this is for this thing.
I'm gonna pass that forward. Right. A lot of the, fees. So we're still getting each of the septic and each of the Board
And
of Health.
because this Phil,
Yeah.
if it's 3 lines, this Phil should be in there.
Right.
And these are all after
This is
April
the
1st.
current, this is the current that we're following, okay? 4-3 and 4-3. Yeah, take a look, this yellow sticky has the summary for this one, listed first, 15, and then the summary of each of the accounts
Of
getting,
this one.
right,
See, this information is for this turnover.
Mhm.
This information is for this turnover.
right, and under revolving, did you delineate how much is going to septic and how much is going to the BOH revolving? 'Cause we have both. So,
It's back to the numbers that my head's been.
yeah, so under revolving,
That's the Board of Health revolving.
not septic.
Anybody
No.
know an accountant that
Okay.
wants to
No.
join the Board of
That
Health?
goes into the septic. See, Phil.
But monies also go into the septic, above and beyond, I'm just double checking here,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
No.
That's why we're here. Somebody's got to check it, and it's not gonna be me.
Food. Okay,
So here's one.
this is septic,
So that's the,
septic account,
yeah, that's the, yes, the septic revolving account, cause that's how he gets paid. He gets paid out of that.
yeah, and the total fee collected was,
It would have been 225.
okay, and so
That's
then,
that,
Paid as much as
so
the neighbor
then
pays twice as much.
this should
and
be
the guy next to them pays
septic.
somewhere in between, and then
septic
And it's,
revolving,
I mean,
and then this is,
shouldn't it have to
General
be
fund.
consistent?
correct?
This is
Mhm.
what we're charging
Okay.
people in Hubbardston to come pick up the
My
trash.
point is, if I say revolving,
Framework.
I mean BOH revolving versus septic
I feel like
revolving.
anybody who newly signed
Right?
up has to pay a higher
No,
rate than
septic
people who've been
revolving is
customers
this.
for years. I don't know, it's just
What,
weird.
the one
that
for
different
Phil.
one hauler
Septic
charges
revolving is
different
is
people
for
different
Phil.
rates in the same town, on the same
'Cause he
street.
money goes in and then it comes
doesn't
out
seem
when we
right to
pay
me.
him,
Okay,
okay?
Is that for
This
customer
is
loyalty
Board
or
of
something?
Health
Like, you've been
revolving.
with us for 10 years, so.
Well, I know, I went to Republic and I told them that, you know, I was now on my own. So
And that's the
trash
fees
So
count.
one person is going to generate, it's not gonna be that much. Anyway, so I reduced the number of
now,
times.
cause this is a, this
that
is
we
a,
had from
this
what
is a
we had
septic
before.
account,
I cut that in half. And
septic
then
fee,
they also
so that should go
reduced it
into the
down even
septic
more, so
fee account,
I went from
which
like
is, where's that list? That
$200
whole packet.
and something dollar bill.
Fees
Every quarter
accounts.
was, no, it was $300 every quarter, down to
We don't have a septic, we only have a septic revolving
Oh,
account.
right, and then this
Wow.
is one,
Right.
So,
and
I
that's
think if
zero,
you
and
go
these is-
back,
But you cut your services
this is,
in half
oh,
too.
20,
Right.
yeah.
This is all
700.
we have.
But
Right, this is
there's also some
2700.
seniors, there's also some senior discounts in there that I think, you know,
and
seniors
this
just
one is
need to ask.
2715.
You know,
Right.
you need to
This
ask
should
and
be
they-
2715.
You need to say,
Is
you know,
40 okay?
That stays with us,
why would you pay for,
right?
you know, 4 times a month if you have one person
Oh, I thought it
living
was
alone?
going into here.
No, no, septic stays in septic, so
So,
if there's
Okay, then we'll
someone,
have to change
by
those.
asking,
Yeah,
you know,
I'll change
they
those.
really
Okay,
reduced it
thank
quite a
you.
bit.
Yep.
got it?
Okay, yep.
Right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I know, it's been
Yep.
complicated, it's okay.
Sure is.
All right.
Like I said.
This all, there's a couple corrections that are gonna be made, and I would ask that you give me permission to sign off on these after the corrections are made. I'll show you.
And if we don't,
Sure. Cause like I said, this stuff is all
See,
really
this is what,
Chinese to me.
this is the Board of Health fees account. After paying Phil.
Right, it
So
goes
is that a
to
whole separate account, the fees account, or is that going to the revolving account?
25%.
And which revolving?
Which
Yeah, the
means
25 and
The
75.
septic fees go into the septic
75%
revolving
septic.
account? And then,
Goes
other
to the
fees,
septic
like for
revolving.
Okay,
inspections
all
go
right,
into
so
There
I'll
it
change
is.
it,
Board of
okay.
Health
I'll
revolving.
change it,
Right
yep.
But there's no separate fees account.
This,
No, there
no,
isn't.
No.
she-
Okay.
the fees just go in and then they go back out.
Mhm.
So as
This
the
is
fees
from-
get paid, then they go right back out, cause somebody gets paid for doing the work.
She wrote that?
I wrote that up.
Oh,
Yeah.
But
you wrote this?
I wrote,
She's
That's
not
why I
you
said
wrote
it's-
that, I
that's
wrote
why I
all
said
these,
it's-
remember I
It's
did
basically
all
Yeah,
this
ceiling.
from what I was told
20,000
to
and
do.
spent.
Yeah, you see the
Can't
difference?
spend
Okay, so-
2715 versus
Okay.
27.
So
Are
I'll
you
have
ever
to
gonna
change
get to
those
that
and give it
ceiling
back
of
to Kelly.
20,000 in the
Never
first
change
place?
Yes.
Cause they've already
It's
gone
always
to Kelly.
rotating in,
I don't
rotating
know.
out.
I don't know, because if they,
Alright.
if they take half of it right off the top,
So we'll
then
look
that's
at, I'll
only
look at it
10,000.
again
And
and
that's,
see
that's a
if I can,
special, yeah.
So,
what I can do.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that money
In
went
that-
in already.
in that case,
Those-
It
those-
can be
of the
changed, she
issue
said
with
it
the-
Right,
as of April
with the
1st.
right.
The
dump,
landfill?
yeah.
Alright,
Yeah.
I did find an error,
That needs to be resolved. That-
in
that's
account
just
numbers,
A ton of money.
where some of the septic, we collect Phil's fee, plus then we collect $25. Of that $25 that's left, 75% of that 25 goes to the septic revolving account, which was not done. It was accidentally, the wrong number went in. It went to the Board of Health revolving account. We have 2 revolving accounts, and that's where I'm catching
Yeah,
an error right now that as of April 1st, we are correcting.
So these are from,
Since then.
these are
That's
just
April
April
first.
second, April
Okay.
second or
Third.
third, whatever.
Alright.
Yeah, and second, right. And so I did find a couple mistakes here. We're gonna,
We'll
we
change
talked it over and we'll correct it.
Right.
And then, we can still sign it at the next meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not gonna sign off on
Okay.
those tonight, 'cause we'll
Okay.
correct.
yep, so those are tabled.
Okay, yeah, that's tabled, thank you.
Okay, yep.
Next, I'm not available to be at an April 23rd meeting.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I might not be able to.
So
either.
I would like to suggest, because we have an extra Tuesday in April in one hand, we can do it on the 30th.
I will not be here.
You can't, can we get a quorum for the 30th? We won't have a quorum, if she's not here on the 23rd and I'm not, we can't have a meeting anyway.
Mhm.
It looks like right now I can.
Okay. So I'd like to postpone the April 23rd meeting to April 30th at 7 p.m. here in the Slade Building, because we will not be able to have a quorum on the 23rd. Is that okay with everybody at this point?
Dennis's first year anniversary. I'll be here.
You sure?
Yeah. I'll make it through. Don't worry.
We can't wait an extra 3 weeks, make the meeting that far off, because we, as a board, do things in a very timely manner. I don't know how other boards in other towns, we make sure, we don't try to let anybody have to wait a long time for any of their permits by having meetings twice a month. And right now, we have things coming in, so that's why I'm kind of pushing for it. Sometimes we can cancel, and not have to worry about it. But I think right now, the current season that we're in, it's advisable for us to have meetings twice a month. Even if it's the 5th Tuesday of April, not the 4th.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that, guys.
Oh, that's I'll let you know.
Okay.
Right now, it looks like I can.
Okay, thank you. If you'll pencil that in before we forget. All right.
Either that or you could go to that Thursday or something.
If we had to, what about Thursday
What if you may?
2nd? Is that May 2nd, Tuesday? Yeah, that would be the 2nd. Is that,
Yep, I can do that.
you can do that? What about May 2nd? Thursday,
I mean,
May
you
2nd.
could, you could try for the
Yeah.
April 30th and then if,
So if anyone knows they can't make April 30th, that currently says they can come, let us all know, and we could put it to May 2nd as a backup date. So at this point, I'm not officially saying when our next meeting is. We're hoping to have it on April 30th, but may need to have it on May 2nd. Is that fair?
Mhm.
Okay. And then I would like to adjourn the meeting at 8:56 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.